Everyone. He just started him or he take the end. He all one time, all of the yeah, he all one time. He did one trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be. I'm good. Oh, yeah. That's good. I can't even remember what we left off with. What Derek get? Oh, I just saw him. He probably in bed. Yeah. Huh? I think so. I'm trying to figure it out here. I think so.
You said somebody X2 too. You said somebody X2.
Where we at there? Where we at?
New stuff.
New stuff. Oh, is that what we at?
We finished with this. We are.
Yeah.
I can't find no way
No, he said somebody X, 7th chapter. Thomas speaking.
Oh, we still, let me see. Okay, we do that.
Yeah, but you did somebody 2nd chapter X, beating his tongue.
We talked about the continuation of the gifts. We talked about miracles. Yep. We talked about the diversity.
About the plan.
Huh?
I told you about the plan, the dream.
Yes. I don't think we finished.
You did, because you finished early and branched off to some of
Yeah.
what started.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Holy Ghost. He mad again. Cause see, I've been off. I went in today for a little while. I went in Monday for a little while. And went in today, and he mad because my patient don't want to see him. They asked him, where's Joe? Like, he out. Well, we'll see him when he get back. He mad again. All right, let's see here. I didn't know how finished with it. I thought I had a long time. Let's see. All right, let's look at let's go to 2 Corinthians 1. Second Corinthians 1. Yeah. Let's do 12 through 16. Let's see what we going on here. Everybody got it?
We didn't hear you, Ray. What you say?
2 Corinthians, what I say there? 1 chapter 1, verse 12. Everybody got it? All right, go ahead. Verse 12.
For our rejoicing is this, the testimony of our conscience, that in simplicity and godly sincerity, not with fleshly wisdom, but by the grace of God, we have had our conversation in the world, and more abundantly to you, for we write none other things unto you than what we read or acknowledge, and I trust you shall acknowledge even to the end.
Good. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You said 2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians 1, verse 12. What verse 1?
What version do you want?
No, you what verse 1?
12. And I just
Okay, go ahead. What translation you reading?
King James.
Okay, go ahead.
You want this?
Go on, King James. No, go ahead. That's fine.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
verse 13. For we write none other things unto you than what you read or acknowledge. And I trust you shall acknowledge even to the end, as also ye have acknowledged us in part, that we are your rejoicing, even as you also are ours in the day of the Lord Jesus. And in this confidence I was minded to come unto you before, that you might have a second benefit, and to pass by you into Macedonia, and to come again out of Macedonia unto you, and of you to be brought on my way towards Judea.
All right, so we got some stuff going on. Paul is really being misunderstood about what he's trying to do. This is a face-to-face strange situation. He found himself in a troubled church who he founded in Greek of Corinth, and Acts 18 talks about how we know he spent 18 months in Corinth winning people to Christ and establishing churches, and after he left, something arose in the congregation that questioned his leadership. So they challenged his authority, they insinuated that he wasn't a real apostle, they attacked his character, they accused him of being used by the Corinthian church for his own gain. So basically some trouble was going on in the church, and most of the church was against him. And their chief complaint against him was he couldn't be trusted because he had changed his plans. How petty is that? Not once, but twice. So he hadn't come back to visit the church like he said he would, so they say he was a fickle man and all this kind of stuff. Just remember that sometimes little stuff start, small stuff start, and it gets big. All right? So, there, it's a little bit I want to tell you. First of all, we got to check out this passage to see how he responded to this misunderstanding to destroy his friendship and the church, and friendship with the church. So that can happen to anybody, right? Our actions can be questioned. Why are you doing what you're doing? Is your heart pure? All kind of stuff. Derek just read 1 Corinthians, what verse we start with? 15 and 16. He said, I plan to visit you first so that you might benefit twice in verse 15. But then, if you go to 2 Corinthians 2, he says, I'm just going to postpone the trip. I decided I would not bring you grief with another painful visit. So the question is, what's really going on with these folks? What's really going on with them? In verse 12, read verse 12 again there.
For our rejoicing is this, the testimony of our conscience, that in simplicity and godly sincerity, not with fleshly wisdom, but by the grace of God. All right,
so the first thing Paul says, even though y'all have accusations against me, in verse 12, first of all, he says something about his conscience. He said his conscience is clear. That's the first thing. So whatever all that chin music y'all talking about, Paul just said, listen, I'm clear on my mission. The latter part, he says in verse 12, that he hadn't hidden anything from me. All right? Then when you go to verse 13, go ahead. What does he say?
For we write none other things unto you than what you read or acknowledge, and I trust you shall acknowledge even to the end.
All right, so Paul says, verse 12a, my conscience is clear. Verse 12b, he said, I hadn't hidden anything from you. And then verse 13, he said, I ain't trying to deceive you. All right, y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he didn't try to hide the fact that he changed his plans, right?
Yeah.
Right? So, he changed his mind several times, but whether or not the Corinthians could understand it, his only concern was for their welfare. All right? In go to 2 Corinthians 1. He wanted to come and see them, but only if his visit would bring about healing and spiritual growth. Mm-hmm. And so, look how words can be twisted. But what about the charge that he just say yes and yes and then no and no and just for fun? But verse 17, if you look at verse 17 of 1 Corinthians, what you got in 2 Corinthians 1, we're going to come back to that. But if you look at verse 17 in 1 Corinthians, Paul says, check out my message. It comes from God and it never changes. And so you always got to understand that you are not responsible for how people interpret what you say. You are responsible for your actions and how you have put it out. In other words, they really twisted what he said. I know that ain't never happened to none of y'all. All y'all say, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, fire baptized, and all that kind of stuff. I know that nobody never twisted what you said, but people only hear what they want to hear. Understand that. You can say, your hair look nice, and if you want to hear that he want to date you, that's what you want to hear. I'm just saying. I mean, I tell for that all the time. Just because somebody smile at you don't mean they want your phone number. Just because they say good morning, ladies, or good evening, ladies, don't mean they trying to take you to the motel suite.
Right.
Where they leave the light on. Alright? So words can be twisted. Words can be twisted. And people turn. So if they twisted Paul's word, this is the church folk now. These the church folk. All he said was, I was going to come see about y'all. I didn't come. Then he said, well, okay, I'm going to come. Then he said, no, I'm not going to come. He knew what was going on. He had heard. Now, this is a church he had set up. Then it's a different. He founded this church. Oh, I'm going somewhere. This the church he set up. And he left it with somewhere else. And not a very folk. Oh, my God.
Come on, with it.
The very folk that said, okay, wherever you go, that's where we're going to go. These the same folk that has twisted what he has said. So let's see, can we deal with this? Because if you go to what verse you start there? 16?
16.
Go to read 17.
When I therefore was thus minded, did I use likeness? Or the things that I purpose?
He going off on him.
Yes.
Paul going in, he got tired. He got fed up. He going in. Go ahead. Verse 17, go ahead. He said what?
Or the things that
go to the Message Bible. Because he might have cussed. He might have cussed in the Message Bible. Verse 17, what he said in the Message Bible? Go ahead.
Are you now going to accuse me of being flipped?
Look at him. Didn't I tell y'all? Paul said, wait a minute. Now go ahead and read the Message Bible. That Message Bible is messy. Go ahead. Go ahead, verse 17.
Are you now going to accuse me of being flipped with my promises because it didn't work out?
It's my fault. You the preacher. You supposed to know. Exactly. Ain't that what we say? Well, you the preacher. All right, go ahead. Next verse.
Do you think Do you think I talk out of both sides of my mouth?
Going in.
A glib yes one moment, a glib no the next. Well, you're wrong. I try to be as sure to my word as God is to his. Our word to you wasn't a careless yes, counseled by an indifferent no. How could it be? When Silas and Timothy and I proclaimed the Son of God among you, did you pick up on any yes and no, on again, off again, waffling? Wasn't it a clean, strong yes?
All right, so hold on. What verse did you do that?
Start at 19.
All right, you stop at 19. Go ahead. Go to 21, then we're going to stop when we come to. Go ahead.
Right? Whatever God has promised gets stamped with the yes of Jesus. In him, this is what we preach and pray, the great amen. God's yes and our yes together, gloriously evident. God affirms us, makes us a sure thing in Christ, putting his yes within us. Keep on.
What verse was that?
21.
All right, stop right there. So let's go back up. All right, so you see in the Message Bible, give you a little clearer picture, they were twisting his word. All right? So now, God never made a promise that was too good to come true. And what we got to understand is what Paul started doing, he started naming the stuff that God did. Now, he did, but what God did through him. He says in verse 21, I don't think, did you read verse 21?
Yes, sir.
He says in verse 21, he anointed us. Read verse 22.
By his spirit, he has stamped us with his eternal pledge.
Verse 22, he says, verse 21, he said he's anointed us. Verse 22, he says he stamped us or he sealed us. What else?
With his eternal pledge. A sure beginning of what he is destined to complete.
All right. So he says not only in verse 21, he anointed us, not only in verse 22a, he sealed us, but in verse 22b, he gave us the Holy Spirit. So Paul's saying, wait a minute, what happened to the church that I founded? What happened to the spirit of these people? What has happened? That's not a rhetorical question.
It didn't take long for children to build a cat on this.
It did. What happened? Why did they renege? Who said that? Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us, we put our sense of responsibility on the person that's in charge versus taking it upon ourselves to hold our ground that we're supposed to. We don't believe in accountability.
I think one of the major problems with folk that go to church and folk that work in the church or work in ministry or whatever, connect to a ministry, I think we want insurance, but we don't want the job. Christianity is the job.
Full-time benefit.
In order for you to get the insurance, you go to a new job, you don't get insurance, boom, right off the bat.
Right.
What they do? 90 days. At least. Alright? And then what PTO? They got to build up. Because you got to show them that you're willing to work. And if you're willing to work, the benefits will come. But that ain't how church folk, they want the benefits without the work. They don't want a job. They want the benefits. Exactly. Want the benefits. Now, I'll tell this story. Now, some part-time jobs do come with benefits. How I went to school, I worked at UPS. And UPS part-time, they paid most of my schooling. But they had benefits. Free insurance. Free, F-R-E-E. After 90 days, free. No, it wasn't 90 days, no. When I started working, it was 30 days. I mean, and if it was yourself and 500 children, it still didn't cost you a dime. All right? That was enough for me to stay. That's why I stayed there almost 10 years. Wasn't really doing it for free. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, that something happened in that church that they forgot. Is it the reason why God says he sends pastors after his own heart? That's why the Bible said, how can they heal without a what? And how can he preach unless he's been
Sin.
Okay, everybody can't do this. Everybody can't lead folk, because you got to lead folk past what you know. What you see in the spirit, you still got to love everybody the same, you still got to treat everybody the same. What you know about people personally, you still. And so Paul's saying, wait a minute now, because y'all ain't going to dog me out. Basically what he said, wait a minute, y'all ain't going to dog me out. First of all, when I set up the church, everything that has happened, we have given God the glory. He said his conscience clear, verse 12. He said, I ain't hid nothing from you, verse 12b. He said, I hadn't deceived you. I ain't took no money. I ain't stepped, I ain't coughed and went up under the table. Then he said, now, but now since you talking about that, since y'all twisted my word, verse 21, let me tell you what God did. He anointed this church. He anointed us, he sealed us, he stamped us with approval, and then he gave us the Holy Spirit. Now what has changed? Sometimes people need a reminder of what the beginning is and was. It's just like when you first get saved. You know, you want to go to Sunday school, you want to go to prayer meeting, you want to every revival in town, you just sold out for God. You want everybody to be saved. That'll be about the first 6 months. You know, you be wide on. You know, you love the Lord. Every time somebody talks to you, you talk about the Lord. God is good. Yes, God is good. He brought me out of Markley and saved me. He did all that for turn my life around. I don't do what I used to do no more. I don't. Then one night, you get by yourself. Yeah. And the devil get on your back. Say, you ain't been out in 8 months. You ought to go. This ain't saved life is a moment life. When the devil get to talking to you, then what you do? What y'all doing? Oh, girl, I ain't heard from you in 6 months. What going on? Y'all said, we going to the spot? Yeah. Boom! Gotcha. Gotcha. So let's look at how sometimes motives can be challenged because of leadership. Now, Paul critics thought that he was a fly-by-night preacher, the kind who was always on a power trip, a control freak. That's what they said. Who enjoys his accolades, singing his praises. When he didn't show up when they expected him, they came to the conclusion that he didn't love them. That's the conclusion that they came to. How many times have we come to the wrong conclusion because of our misunderstanding? All right? So, watch this. Paul finna call a witness now. In verse 23. What do you say?
Now, are you ready for the real reason I didn't message you?
Look at that! Look at that messy Bible.
You told your story.
Yeah. Now you done said all this stuff. You done called me before the deacons. Y'all got me sitting in the middle of the chapel. Let me get y'all straight. Let me tell y'all what really going on. He says, and I tell people, it takes another pastor to understand pastor. And what parishioners don't sometimes understand is that a lot of times God forewarns the leader about things that are coming up, about trials, about tribulation, about situations that the church gonna go through, or situations that individuals are gonna go through. And so we don't always react how you think we need to react. Simply because when you in constant communication with God, God ain't gonna let that slip up on you. You know. All right. So Paul says, now I gotta let me get y'all straight. Verse 23. Go ahead.
Now, you ready for the real reason I didn't come to you in corn? As God is my witness, the only reason I didn't come was to spare you pain. I was being considerate of you, not indifferent, not manipulative.
Look at that. A whole big misunderstanding. They about to vote the man out. And didn't even give him. They about to vote the man out because of a misunderstanding. Because of what they thought. So basically he says, I stayed away from you because really I didn't want to have a confrontation with you. I know what was going on in the church. I know what y'all were doing. He said, I stayed away. That's why he made up his mind not to make another trip. 2 Corinthians 2:1. We going there in a minute. So he wrote them a letter. But apparently the Negroes didn't read. He wrote him a letter. Oh, we ain't never get the letter. You know how you lying to him. You know how you lying for telephone. I ain't get your text. Who got it? It said deliver. Oh, you got it.
Red and 522.
It was either in green or it was in blue. Depends on if you got an Android or an iPhone. Oh, you got it. And one thing I know about us, if our phones ain't in our hand, it's near. It's like Jesus. It's our So Paul says, listen, so he wrote them a letter, but he confronted them. And he says, I said what I need to say and I wrote what I needed to write, so I won't do anything right now. Then he adds a surprising revelation of his own heart. That young believers who viewed him with suspicion. He says 2 Corinthians verse 4, he says, for I wrote you out of great distress and anguish of heart and many tears, not to grieve you, but to let you know the depth of my love for you. See, but you ain't read the letter. You ain't checked the mailbox. I keep telling folks, quit going to your mailbox and anticipate bills all the time. Quit checking it every day. Go with a spirit of expectancy. I guarantee you can go with a spirit of expectancy. Now, expect some bills. Now, they come. All right, what verse you left out on there?
23.
All right, go ahead, 23. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We're not in charge of how you live out the faith, looking over your shoulders, suspiciously critical. The partners working alongside you, joyfully expecting. I know that you stand by your own faith, not by ours.
All right. So he says basically, hey, I'm not going to stand on your shoulder and make sure you do what you need to do. That's on you. I believe one of the reasons, and it's amazing that I just kind of picked this up. Scott talked about now. I was reading and studying this earlier. But I was going to teach on spiritual gifts, but I didn't know how to do it. But anyway, isn't it amazing how, and I'm just going to say it, people might get mad and they might get frustrated or whatever, but I'm just going to say the truth. The truth of the matter is, a lot of churches have leadership spoiled. Because whatever they say, it can be dead wrong. People can know it's dead wrong, and people will sit right there and not say anything. And I don't understand leaders that always want people around them that agree with them. If y'all was in some of our board meetings, y'all would be like, them niggas ain't saved for real. Oh, we go in. Oh, because we held the business. Everybody got an opinion. You got, you know, Kincaid is struggling. But anyway, you know, we go in. And after we get done, we just like Joe Clark and Dr. What's the man's name? Whatever. We just like Joe Clark and the superintendent. We'll tell Cookie, you think you bad, don't you? And then Nick will tell her, let's go get something to eat. Now they didn't mean to drag out now. Nick, you can tell when Nick get upset because that Jamaican accent gets so sharp. Gets so sharp. But I keep telling people that some people are uncomfortable with confrontation, but sometimes you need confrontation to get to the root of the truth. And if you just assume and stuff, that's what Paul is saying. If you just assume, you ain't even read the letter. You ain't even took time to read the letter. It got lost somewhere. Okay, but let me tell you why I did what I did. There is always motive. I tell people that are close to me all the time. If I tell you something, just because I don't give you the details, don't just think I'm just saying stuff in the wind. There is always, if I say, hey, you might need to watch this, it's because I have already experienced something, or something is coming down the road that I'm not able to release in the atmosphere yet. That's why you need people around you that you trust spiritually.
That's right. That's right.
Not. I ain't talking about no mess about what you heard. I'm talking about you have experienced some stuff with individuals or with situations, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to guard people against. Now, keep in mind that you got to understand that you can't shield everybody from everything. There are some things that they got to go through. Just like our children. You tell your children, don't touch the hot stove. They keep on itching up there. Keep on itching. Okay, don't touch it, little Johnny. Keep on itching up there. Touch it, boom! You learn a valuable lesson. I bet you won't do that though. All right. So that's why when children are younger, it's the best time to give them boundaries. And what has happened is this. I'm gonna tell you what has happened, and what we don't want to deal with in society is this: is that the reason that we have angry white men killing up folk. Watch this now, because nobody want to deal with this. The reason that we have angry white men killing up folk is because they being raised angry.
Yes. That's right.
See, we don't want to deal with the root of the problem. When genocide happened, what they did in Germany, they went back to the root of the problem. They said, let's go back and look at these parents and how they were raising these children. Okay, most of the white homes, they start shooting guns, 8, 9, 10 years old, hunting, blood, just the deals, gutting everything. I mean, just, they ain't got no, I mean, if you raising your child like that, then a person that don't look like them, because they're here at home anyway. Oh, okay then.
That's right.
Don't y'all, and then you got a fool lead the country. All right, you got to deal with the root cause. So people don't like confrontation, but Paul said, "I stayed away so I wouldn't get angry about what I need to say to you." So I wrote a letter. Okay, y'all didn't respond. Now when I do come, now you said you won't be gone. You don't love us, Paul. And if you would have read the letter, you would have saw that I did say I love you. Now let's see how they're gonna straighten their face up like this. Do understand, my brothers and sisters, that even though your motives can be pure, they can always be challenged. Yes. They can always be challenged. The whole thing is, why do we men, women, boys, girls, or whoever you are in the room tonight or online tonight, you pay bills for a motive. Your motive is you want your stuff on. You don't pay bills because you like paying bills. Who like paying bills? We pay bills because we got a motive. We got to eat, we got to sleep, we got to be clean, we got to do all that stuff. Now we can choose not to pay bills. And there are consequences to every action. Alright? Any questions? So you got to understand, as hard as it may be for some of us to hear, you can't always solve every problem in the world. Hard as it may be for you to hear. All right, so I heard this all week. Okay, Mama passed Sunday, and folks telling me, what I need to do. First of all, don't tell me what I need to do. Don't tell me how I need to feel. Don't tell me what I need to stop doing. Because what I'm doing in the process that I'm going through, I text my cousin today. I got sympathy from my cousins now that they're I always had sympathy, but now I empathize with the hurt that they feel. And I simply text my cousin today and I said, how can you live without your mama? This is new to me. All right, so I ain't balling out, I ain't standing in the bed, I ain't doing all that, because watch this, I don't need attention. I don't need that. I don't need that. What I need is understanding, and people to understand that how I grieve may not be the way you grieve. I got to keep going. I can't sit houses, the walls close up in on me. I got to stay busy. No, I ain't suppressing the fact that we're going to have a celebration of the life of my mama Friday. And yes, I'm hurt, my heart hurt. And yes, I'm going to cry, I might holler. But at the same token, watch this. I know that God had her before I had her. Yeah. But that along with spiritual maturity. The problem is a whole lot of folk that claim to have a relationship with God really don't have a relationship with God because I ain't finna slip my wrist because my mama gone.
That's right. That's right.
I ain't gonna need no Prozac or no Xanax. I ain't gonna need that because I understand that I'm on my way. That's just the reality of the matter is. And I'm comfortable with that. And listen, me and my mama talked. We had conversations. We talked about a whole lot of things. Now, watch this. It's my time to put what she taught me into action. And so folks saying you strong. No, I ain't that strong. I just know the Lord. I mean, I just know she in the best hand that she's ever been in her life. And that's it. And so, no, I ain't. I heard people say, well, you just trying to be the pastor. You trying to be telling. Hell, I'm Jeff. That's who I am. And evidently, folk don't know me that well. Pay attention.
That's right.
I did the same thing when my father passed. What my prayer is, Lord, help me to live without my mom. And keep my mind.
That's right. That's right.
Keep me sane. The hardest thing that me and Carol had to do, it was hard to tell them about my daddy, but it was so enough hard to tell them about my mom. I mean, that's the hard. Ouch. I really did. I said it so quick. Because I ain't want to tell them. Because I know the relationship. But things come back to mind that me and my mama talked about. She said, I go back to the conversation we had when I got upset with her when she was giving them what we said, don't give them. And she said these words to me. She said, I want my grandchildren to have great memories. She just said this maybe a week or so ago in the hospital room. I want my grandchildren. I said, well, hell, what about your children? She don't care that. I want my grandchildren to know. I said, what about y'all know? Lady, just to skip the children, worry about the grandchildren. But she understand. I understand. She know what's going on. So you got to understand that you can't solve every problem, and you can't make folk go through how you went through. Oh, I went through. You know, I had to go to Dr. Scott and Dr. Hill and give me 2 or 3 shots, and well, that's you. That don't mean I got to do that.
That's right.
I mean, I went to work Monday. I went to work today, and everybody like, you all right? I'm good. Just don't tell me you good now. Well, what you want me to say? I'm here. I'm trying. And so I just like sometimes folks just don't know what to say. I mean, I get it. And then here's the thing that people don't understand. That people don't understand about me. No, I'm not trying to be the chaplain. I'm not trying to be the pastor. But you got to understand. Catch what I said. This didn't catch me by surprise. Didn't catch me by surprise. I told my sister, my brother. I said, when my mama got out of the ICU and went to the regular room, I said, yeah, we were having about she started talking. But then I still knew because the same night that she went to the room, she called me from the hospital bed. And she went to talking about, I want to change this on the program. I said, God, what you talking about? You doing good, you in the regular room. First she said she wasn't going to make it to her birthday. Made it to her birthday. Then, a couple of weeks before she went to the hospital, she said, you put your daddy's tombstone down? I'm still dealing with that. The folks in my house don't know, my dad's tombstone sitting in my kitchen. You know why I sit in my kitchen? I ain't ready. I ain't ready to put it down. So, my mama asked me last week, 2 weeks ago, she said, you put your dad's tombstone down? Nah. I said, the weather been bad, I just been lying, saying all kind of She said, that ain't what it is. She said, I know. She said, I know you ain't ready. She said, but you might as well wait now. Now all this coming back. Conversation that we had. So I don't understand how people don't understand that God is real. And he will give you peace.
Yes.
When you got peace with him and you don't have to go in the shadows of death kicking and screaming and hollering.
That's right.
Watch this. So you got to understand you can't solve every problem. Some people won't listen. Some people love to argue. Some people have already made up their minds. Some people have an answer for everything. But this situation in Corinth, because the church was so split. And because Paul had already sent them a stern, painful letter writing with tears streaming down his face, because that's what Derek just read. Paul said, I wrote this letter with tears in my eyes. And because he knew the situation, he decided not to go to Corinth. So, you got to talk, sometimes you got to use your wisdom. In relationships, you got to know when to be quiet.
Amen.
You got to know when to ask questions and when not to ask questions. And you got to understand everybody don't handle stuff the same way. Just because you handle it a certain way don't mean I'm going to handle it a certain way. Okay, I said it already. So, but I want to tell you that sometimes people need to sit down and meet and hash out whatever situations you got going on. And then sometimes you need to back off and give people some space. Sometimes you need to give them time to think and pray and discuss and get the Holy Spirit time to soften heart. Sometimes you gotta let the Holy Spirit. You want to prove to folk that you right. Sometimes you gotta get silent and just let the Holy Ghost convict them.
That's right.
They'll come back.
That's right.
Why you gotta be right about everything? Sometimes you just gotta back off. Don't say nothing. I had a situation, and I'm praying. I'm saying, I'm gonna get this thing. I'm gonna get this straight. And the Lord told me, leave it alone. Don't bring it up again. Don't you say a mumbling word. Let me do it. The Lord ever told any of y'all that? Yeah.
We want to fix it.
Yeah, we want to fix it.
Every time we go to him with something.
Yeah.
Lord, the one way it's dire and we can't handle it, we lay it down and get it.
Yeah.
But when we got a little bit going,
Yeah.
what we do? We go back and pick it up and expect a different result.
Right. All right, anybody else? All right. Now, the part that I like, if you go to 2 Corinthians 2, verse 4, I love how this passage ends. I love how 2 Corinthians 2, verse 4 says, because speaking of difficult letters he wrote to the Corinthian church, he said, I wrote this letter in great anguish, with a troubled heart, and I had tears, and I didn't want to grieve you. I love this because Paul was basically saying it was hard for me to write the letter. And it was a hard letter to the Corinthians because they didn't want to read it. We always want God to tell us what we want to hear. And can I tell you something, folks? 95% of the time, if you pray and you say you know the Lord ain't going to tell you what you want to hear. I'll tell you what you need to hear. All right. So you got to understand that love must be bold, tough, and tender. And I'm going to close right there with that. Love it's got to be tough and it got to be tender. Now, how can love be tough and tender?
Stern, but with respect of the other person.
Yeah.
As you say, you're saying it and you're doing it with the right motive, but yet you're stern with what you mean by getting that point across.
Let me tell you what blessed me. And Karen gonna bust out laughing when I say it. Her cousin husband called me when he found out about Mama. And he said, yeah, man, I missed this Sunday sermon, but I caught this last. He said, now let me tell you something. He said, now you had to tell me the truth. He said, but I like how you did. Because he said, a lot of preachers, they just beg for money. He said, but you ain't say, you told them what you had done, some stuff they didn't know that you had done. They couldn't say nothing. I know the offering went up. Man, not so crazy. Anyway, but I said all that to say this. He said you were tough, but they know you love the church and you love them. Now that blessed me. Out of all the other stuff he's saying, because he's a little bootleg preacher. He stayed on the phone with 30 minutes. Man, I know it's hard about your mom, but see, you know the Lord. Folks don't understand. You done to talk to your mom, you and your mama to talk about this thing. And folks looking at you and they don't understand. See, you got a relationship. I said, yeah, yes, sir, I do. I got a relationship. Ain't nobody but the Lord. I said, yeah, that's good. But he still told me, he said, but you're going to have to let it out. I said, oh, it will be let out. I said, I done let some out. I ain't through. Huh? What? Oh, Tamika, yeah, y'all went to Jacksonville, y'all met Eli. Did y'all meet him? Yeah, he met. But anyway, tough and tender. Some folks want to be tough and tough. Look to your left, Brittany, and let them know you want to be tough. Most tough people, can I tell you a secret about tough people? Most tough people are as tender as they are tough. Sir. See, Lisa. she talking all that noise, but let them grandchildren, their mouths.
Got to wrap around for you.
Huh? Yeah. She talking about he got Chris right now. He got you wrapped around. BB.
No, that's right.
So those that are tough are actually tender. So let's deal with it. I'm gonna close with that because what Paul decides, he decides to wait for God to work. He don't want to stir up the trouble. He don't want to stir up trouble. He decides not to come to Corinth at the moment. Here what we see is Christian maturity. Sometimes you got to know, and I don't understand some people. Now, you got to know when to stay awake and when to show up. Now, granted, what has happened this week, I've heard from preachers that I ain't even know I had my phone on. I mean, that's nice, that's cool, all that kind of stuff. But now, it's still my phone, I'm still call back and answer what I want to answer. Because, I mean, in my mind, my mom been staying in the same place since 90. So now, if you ain't been by the house, you ain't really got no relationship. I mean, I appreciate the call, but I'm saying this to solidify my next statement I'm about to say. You gotta know when to love people from a distance and when to love them up close.
That's right.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. It's a dangerous time when somebody bereaved. They on edge. Anything to set them off. I have seen many divorces. They be like, they've been together 25 years and then her mama died. Yeah, because you ain't say the right thing. You weren't there for her. You sometimes close your mouth. Just be in the room. Be in the vicinity. I said all that to say this. That Paul knew that it wasn't time for him to go to Corinth. That he needed to wait until they calm down and then go. How many times have we been in a situation like Paul and we went hot? And when you cool down, you said, I shouldn't have did this. Let me raise my hand. Let me be first. I tell you that I've been in some situations. Because when your emotions, when you mad, you want everybody else mad. Because what you're trying to do, you want to affirm what you're feeling. And so what you got to do sometimes, you got to back off. You got to calm down, go take a chill pill. You know, do whatever you need to do. Go in the other room, do what you need to do. And then when you calm down, say, let's talk. But the problem is, sad commentary is, we didn't grow up in houses like that. We didn't grow up in houses like that. Our folks didn't teach us how to deal with conflict. They taught us conflict, but they didn't teach us conflict resolution. Because their resolve was, I'm going to cuss you out, you're going to cuss me out. We might push each other. You go to your corner, I go to my corner, and the kids just like, them friends over there. Oh, that's just, they'll be all right. Just normal. Just normal. Y'all crazy. All right. So he waited. But I want to tell you, sometimes waiting can be hard. Now, y'all women, y'all the world's greatest at it. Because y'all can know something and have the evidence and will sit on it 3 years. And then at the right time, you remember in 2016 when we were sitting in Cypress Inn and it was our anniversary and your phone buzzed. I saw the notification. I know you texted. Like later on 3 years ago. Y'all women some serious. I mean, the Lord that gifted y'all with that. I mean, y'all can hold it now. You know, dudes, we ain't finna hold that. We know something. We coming straight with you. The same hour. We coming over. Huh? What you say? Huh? No what? Oh yeah. Yeah, he in the 5%. He have to. He get paid to remember. Yeah, he get paid to remember. But most men, whatever. Like, nah, I ain't say that. Yes, you said. You had on the purple polo. You just went and got your hair cut. I told you I ain't like it. And I had went to the Parisian and bought you some. Y'all go eat. You don't know about Parisian. You don't know about Parisian. No. You want any more? You don't know about Parisian. Well, you might know about Parisian. You probably don't know about Gayford.
Parisian was on time.
You don't know about Gayford. So, like I said, it takes discipline. It takes discipline to wait. And so, I want to say when I look back at my own mistakes, the mistakes I made in my life, the mistakes I made in my marriage, the mistakes I made in ministry, many of them come because I wouldn't wait. Oh, y'all ain't the only one. Why y'all say that? You ain't gonna talk about me. You have me by myself. Come on now. When you do an inventory over the mistakes that you have made, it was simply because you couldn't wait. And that's why we are so adamant about our children, trying to keep them from not making the same mistake. We just couldn't wait to get grown. Couldn't wait. Oh, I'm moving out. Get me in the pocket. Okay, your mom said, okay, all right, then. You don't even know how to put that in your name. I ain't got that. Well, what I'm supposed to do with this bill? Pay it? I remember my first light bill was like $43. I ain't had the money. Mom said, I can't, well, your light's gonna get cut off. I said, for $43? I said, you got $43. I got $43, but you want to move out. So we try to tell our children to wait, but they don't want to wait. And then there are some things that we cannot shield from. There are some mistakes that they must make. It's hard to watch them make the same mistake that we make, or similarity, but we gotta allow them that space because we were given that space. Yeah. And when you hoard and when you lord over your children, those are the children that leave home and don't never come back. You know how many folk I went to school with that their whole aim was to get as far away from their parents as they could. Any questions? The Bible says we should refrain from anger and turn from wrath because it leads only to evil. If God is God, he can be trusted to do right, but he doesn't work on our timetable. I can call it that. That's what I want to do because I think we want God to work when we want him to work. That ain't it. you how he work. I was at work today. We got some we got a new logo, and I've been there, I think it's been like 7, 8 months now. And so I was messing with them today. I said, man, they were passing out business cards. I said, how am I getting business cards with the folk that just started 2 weeks ago? What's up with that? So everybody bust out there. You know, I'm very controversial. I don't care. So they were like, Jeff, I mean, don't start. You know, y'all, you don't even supposed to be here. You hear what you're saying. They were like, yo, folks. I said, no. I said, I need to know. I said, because this man just started. I hired him. I hired the man before him and the man before him. And you mean tell me all of us are getting cars at the same time? I jumped to the conclusion. What happened was the logo changed. Now, my cards been in the office, but they didn't give them to them because we changed the design on the company. So they said, Jeff, your card's been in the draw for the last 3 months. We just kept them. I ain't say I'm sorry. I'm just gonna tell you. I ain't say I'm sorry. I said, well, y'all should have told me 3 months ago. I said all that to say this. That timing, our time is not God's time, and we never know why something was withheld from us. God, I'm talking about. Because there's something better coming out. That's what I realized. All right. Any questions? I'm done. I said no one. All right. And then I told him, don't start with me, because you know I'm black. I pour that on me. Y'all discriminate on the black dude. They just bad. All right. Any questions? I'm gonna need